Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Red Donkey Projections. My name is Lucas, and I have Eric here as always.
Hey guys.
And today we have an early video for you. Expect the next few videos to be a bit earlier than usual. But we'll be taking a look at if Steve Bullock can really defeat Steve Daines, what he has to do, what the polls are showing, what everything is showing. And with that being said, let's get right into it. Let's start off here by giving some background. Steve Bullock is currently a very popular governor of the state of Montana. That's a lot of experience. Governor, a lot of name recognition as well. He actually ran for president in 2020. He dropped out early, but he's very well known, and most people do like him. Steve Daines, on the other hand, is mildly popular. He's not like super unpopular or super popular. He's pretty conservative. Bullock is more of a moderate, which obviously you have to be in a state like Montana. Honestly, Eric, you want to talk about a little bit about like Montana in general?
Yeah, so Montana is usually a more conservative leaning state. They usually do vote for the Republican in presidential elections. The thing is, though, they do like to split ballot. For example, Donald Trump did win the state of Montana pretty soundly, but they did vote for Steve Bullock as governor, and Steve Bullock is a Democrat. So they like to split ballot their votes. And just a bit more information about Steve Daines. He is the incumbent. He is in this seat right now for Montana Senate, and he is being challenged by Steve Bullock.
Right. And as Eric said, Montana is quite conservative. You're not going to see like a progressive win a statewide office here. They do actually have another Democratic senator, John Tester. He's also a moderate. Actually, I think he is quite on the conservative side. Steve Bullock is also a moderate as well, so that's going to be helpful in a state like Montana. All right, so let's take a look at this. Recent polls have been showing Daines up, and that's actually pretty interesting because before we did see a tighter race of them before. We saw actually Bullock leading in a lot of these polls. In an Emerson poll, which is an A-minus pollster, which is quite good, Daines is up by 6, and I remember reading that the undecided number here was 5%, and I think that the undecided voters do tend to split for the Republican candidate, so that's not too good for Bullock right now. Daines up 3, Daines up 2. So 3 of the most recent polls have Daines up, which should be a little bit concerning for the Bullock campaign. But in July, we actually did see Bullock up, Bullock +2, Bullock +4, Bullock +7. So that is interesting to see how things have changed a bit.
And then in March, it was even. And I guess those Republican ads with Steve McConnell and Nikki Haley and Ted Cruz have been working because, yeah, there was a switch in the polls.
Right, that is a good point because I do think that Republicans have funded this race quite a bit because people are getting a lot of ads with Steve Daines, like trying to get people to persuade people to vote for Steve Daines, whereas you don't really see it that much as prominent as some of the other Senate races.
Yeah, and I don't blame the Republicans because Montana is going to be a very close race. And as you'll see in a few minutes later into the video, it does carry some importance in the election.
Right, because it is a popular governor that's very well known versus an incumbent senator. This is kind of like the Colorado race, but the huge difference is that Gardner's a lot more unpopular than Steve Daines because Colorado is a more Democratic state. Montana's a quite solid conservative state. All right, let's discuss counties now. So I've laid out here basically all of the pretty Democratic counties. Montana, you do not see a lot of swing counties. It is a lot about the margins here. For example, some counties here that are pretty solidly Democratic, I don't want to say solidly, but they do tend to vote Democratic. Silverboat County, Glacier County, Granite County. Those are 3 examples here. What Steve Bullock needs to do to win is kind of get out Democratic turnout in these counties so he can increase the margins and maybe even lessen some of the Republican margins in some of the other counties. Eric, is there anything else you want to add?
So these counties, as shown, they are blue counties, but once again, Montana is a fairly conservative area. These are going to be filled with those moderate Democrats, because the rest of the counties that aren't filled in are pretty conservative. So Steve Bullock really needs to, as you said, increase turnout in those areas.
Right, and in a county like Yellowstone County, where there's a lot of people there, he should also be trying to increase Democratic turnout there as well. So, actually, looking at past elections, this is basically what we saw in 2014, in 2016 governor. Sorry, not 2014. In 2018 Senate, 2014 governor. This is basically what the Democratic counties were. 2014, Danes did win a lot more. Took some of these Democratic counties, like these two right here. But again, that was a red wave year, so that definitely helped him out in 2014.
Yeah,
So,
that is
yep,
the reason why probably the Republicans did have a majority, because we saw that in North Carolina with Cunningham, and in Montana we saw that with Steve Daines.
right. So that red wave year really did help a lot of those Republicans. Let's talk importance, and I think genuinely, this is probably the most important Senate race, or either the most important or the second most important behind North Carolina, because this is extremely important for a Democratic majority. Right now, we do project that it will be a 50-49 election because we do currently have Montana as a tilt R. And the reason for that is with the new polling showing Daines up and thinking about, in general, the demographics of the state. We initially had the state as like toss-up when we first started. Then we moved to tilt D, then to tilt R, and now we have it at tilt R.
Yeah,
Because things
as you
have...
can see,
Mhm.
as you can see, it's very neck to neck.
Right, it is. It is. Because it is really, really important. Let's take a look at this. So right now they do have 50. If Republicans win it, it's a 50-50 split. Kamala Harris would break the tie because we do project that Joe Biden will win the presidency. But the issue with the 50-50 tie for the Democrats is they have a lot of moderate Democrats in the Senate. For example, Joe Manchin of West Virginia. I talk about him like basically every video. He is a pretty conservative Republican. Conservative Democrat. I think he does vote more to the right of like a Lisa Murkowski or Susan Collins, which is kind of interesting to see. He is from a very, very conservative state of the very conservative state of West Virginia. I think it's the third or the second most conservative state in the whole U.S. So if you're a Democrat, you probably want to vote a lot with the people that they like, which they do like President Trump. So that is interesting to see.
Another example is Kirsten Sinema in Arizona. She is, I think, considered a blue dog, and she's pretty not progressive. She's pretty conservative on the Democratic scale. And for Democrats and more progressive Democrats, that could be a problem if the Senate ends up being this close, because it will be a bit more difficult to get, like, for example, statehood passed or any other laws passed that Democrats would really want to be implemented in their society.
Right, and like Maine has Angus King there. Angus King is an independent that sides with that caucuses with the Democrats. He is basically like dead in the middle, so he's also a very interesting candidate. So senator. So if they do want certain laws to be passed, like a DC majority, I don't think that will happen because a lot of senators here, or I don't want to say a lot, but some of these senators here don't support a DC statehood, such as Joe Manchin and Angus King. However, when talking about a public option, I think it will probably happen, regardless of if the Montana seat is won or not. But that's why Montana really is so important. If they can lock in Montana, they can cover one vote from Joe Manchin, who might vote with the Republicans sometimes. So a 50-50 tie, this case would look like a 50-50 tie. That would be good for the Democrats here. And that really is why this race is so important in this election. And that's the end of the video for today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this episode, please hit the like button. If you like our content, please hit subscribe. We'll see you in our next episode tomorrow.
See ya.